Welcome to Talent Talks, your go-to podcast for insights into global recruitment and the power of finding the right talent, brought to you by More Staffing. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an HR leader, or just keen on personal and professional growth, we're here to share valuable insights and stories. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing one of More Staffing's clients, Jonas Bordo, the founder and CEO of Dwellsy. For those who are not familiar, Dwellsy is a rental marketplace offering a wide range of listings from individual landlords to large property managers, with a focus on low-fee listings and transparency. Dwellsy simplifies the rental search, making it easier for renters to find homes and for landlords to lease their properties. I'll let Jonas explain the business further later on. But today we are diving into a different side of Dwellsy's success, Jonas' experience with onboarding Filipino talents through More Staffing to support the platform, the company Dwellsy. Specifically, we'll discuss the two standout Filipino talents, Rebecca Buena. She's a sales support researcher and data analyst specialist onboarded October 2023, and Maria Eureka Enal, who's the bookkeeper and an executive assistant, onboarded just May 2024. So let's jump right in. All right, Jonas, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for being here. Can you tell us more about your company?
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me on, Lara. So I'm Jonas Bordo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Dwellsy. Dwellsy is the largest U.S. rental marketplace. So a place where every renter can find their next rental. Every landlord can get their place rented. And we also sell rent data. So we know how much market rent is in every market across the country.
What a success, Jonas. And today we're diving into a different side of Dwellsy's success. It's your experience in onboarding Filipino talents through More Staffing to help support the platform, your team. Specifically, we have endorsed two talents to Dwellsy. Rebecca, who is a sales support researcher and data entry specialist, and Eureka as a bookkeeper and executive assistant. Can you start, Jonas, by giving us an overview of your experience with onboarding or training talent through More Staffing? What were your initial expectations and how did the process evolve?
Yeah, my expectations were that More would find great talent for us, which they absolutely have. The search process has been quick and efficient in each situation. We found great talent relatively quickly. In both cases, with a minimum of fuss on our end. The More team did a great job of establishing and understanding what we really needed and what we were looking for in a successful candidate. And in both cases, we were able to find great talent very quickly.
Sounds like a great journey for you. Now, with every onboarding process has its own challenges. What were your biggest challenges that you faced, and how did you solve or overcome them?
Yeah, I think a little bit different in each one. With the first recruitment we did, we weren't 100% sure of exactly what we needed in terms of skill set from the person, because there were a few different tasks that we imagined them doing. So we're trying to underwrite a broad range of different tasks and activities that we'd ask the individual to do. So in that case, it was really trying to make sure that the person we were hiring had enough diversity of talent to be able to tackle the different tasks that might come up. So that slowed us down a little bit, both up front and then, later on in evaluating candidates, but ultimately made a great hire. Very pleased with team members who joined us.
Jonas, correct me if I'm wrong, is Rebecca your first Filipino hire remotely?
She is, yeah. We have other remote team members around the world, but first hire Philippines, yeah.
Okay. And for the support, like a sales support researcher, is she the first role, or also there are other remote from different?
We've had other team members doing similar but not quite the same roles. Now she's part of a team that includes two other people who do similar work, but that work has evolved in recent months, recent years.
Yeah. So from the challenge that you faced when you're trying to finalize the job description and the responsibilities of Rebecca, were you able to achieve that result after onboarding, training her, and was she able to fulfill the wider range of roles.
Yeah, she really has. She's been terrific, just stepped up and been able to tackle, pretty much anything we've thrown at her so far. She's doing a broader diversity of work than we anticipated originally, which is a great, example of ways in which she's shining and just exceeding expectations in the role.
Mm-hmm. Jonas, in your company, do you have like internal trainings, or do you send your team to external trainings?
That sounds like a wonderful thing to do. We're a small team here, and the
Mm-hmm.
best way that we've found to train is just to give people work to do. So we have a tendency just to throw people in and get them acclimatized right at the beginning. We try to set expectations appropriately, not expecting them to knock it out of the park on the first task, but we do expect them to come up to speed quickly and to care about the outcomes. And all of the team members that Moore's helped us find have done great on that front.
Gotcha. Speaking of this success, how do you think cultural fit plays into this? Was there a time when your new hire adopted to your company culture, and how did that contribute to the success of Dwellsy?
Yeah, it's really been seamless. Cultural fit hasn't been a factor that we've had to consider at all. I don't know if it's the specific characteristics of the folks that you found for us, or if it's their innate characteristics themselves. But they've just fit in really well with the existing culture of the team, and it's been very seamless.
All right. It's always great to hear about the long-term impact of onboarding, and for this, especially the remote team members that you have, both through talent right now. How have these processes contributed to the overall success of your employees in Dwellsy as a whole?
Yeah, so it's ultimately the folks who've joined us are contributing to the success of the whole team. So it's been really easy to fit them in to the overall team and have them contribute towards team goals. So really from the beginning, it's worked out very nicely, and feel like they are helping everybody else be successful around them in addition to being successful themselves.
Sure, thank you for that. And in your opinion, Jonas, what are the core elements of a successful onboarding when based on your experience, since these are not the only remote teams that you have, but we also have from different parts of the world.
Yeah, I think the main thing on onboarding, we tend to find out very quickly whether somebody's going to be able to work in the way that we want to work. Responsiveness is key, communication is critical, availability is important. We're all working remotely around the world, so you really need to keep up a steady stream of communication, making sure that people are in touch. And so being a part of that from the beginning is important. And then availability is
Mm,
always, it's a little bit different because it's not like people are at their desks and we can just walk over and say hi. So making sure folks are making themselves available as they're
mhm,
needed to participate in team activities and team projects. Keeping in mind that a lot of the work that we have folks doing is individual contributor work where they
mhm.
need to be heads down, working hard on their tasks. But at the same time, they need to be able to, quickly and easily pop up and be a part of team activities, or, change gears as appropriate in order to handle a higher priority task as it comes up. So those are some of the key things that we look for on the initial
Mhm.
onboarding. And honestly, learning while doing
Mhm.
provides a very quick and easy feedback mechanism, rather than sending somebody offsite or having an extended training program where you can't really tell if the person's going to be able to perform or not. You
Yeah.
can see who picks it up really quickly and who doesn't when you're just candidly throwing them in the deep end. I've always
Yeah.
found that to be the case, continues to be the case today.
Yeah. Speaking of learning, Jonas, from your previous experience with your um previous talents, to Rebecca, who was hired October 2023, and to Eureka, who was hired just recently, May, was there like challenges or probably mistakes that you've done in the past that you were able to change in the newer team members that you have had in terms of onboarding?
Um, it's hard to say because we've definitely onboarded some folks who haven't worked out.
Mhm.
And that's not the case with these two. So I think there was some greater quality in the sourcing of talent up front and just making sure we had good candidates to look at. Without the support of a partner like Moore, we were on our own looking for talent internationally, and sometimes that went well, and sometimes that went poorly. So I feel like this way we've gotten a much better
Mhm.
guarantee of quality that folks are really going to be able to deliver. That we have a partner who is local on the ground, able to underwrite whether folks are likely to perform or not. I'm sure there's
Mhm.
perfection is not achievable. Well, I'm sure there will be mistakes at some point in the future, but I feel like that has been, a real advantage to us as we've gone through. Other than that, we've kind of rolled with the same mechanism that's worked for us. I just feel like we're
Mhm.
we're starting with more of a sure thing than we had in the past with other onboardings.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And for those who doesn't know yet, More Staffing also provides coaching and training programs. So, Jonas, we are doing continuous coaching with the team members that you have. And as you've said, I think we have an advantage of being the Filipino side of the business, wherein we can understand, get more information, support the talents, wherever they have any challenges, or if they want to upskill, they can reach to us and share what they wanted to learn more. So that's something that we can provide to them. And also an invitation for you and for everyone who's a future client or an existing client. With you, if you have a specific, especially technical trainings that you want for your talents, More Staffing can definitely support. Final question, Jonas. What advice would you give to other organizations looking to refine their onboarding process to achieve similar success?
Well, I'm a big advocate of the way we do onboarding. So, of course, that's a selfish perspective. I think just getting people to work as quickly as possible is really the best way to help them get up to speed and really get integrated into the day-to-day of the business. I think other than that, just being very, very clear with expectations and very clear in communication, making sure that people absolutely know what is expected of them, what needs to get done very quickly and early on.
Thank you so much for that lovely advice, Jonas. And thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to support Dwellsy more in your talent needs in the future. And anything that you wanted to add in terms of training and then even coaching for your team members, we got you covered.
Thanks so much, Laura. Really appreciate it. Nice to chat today.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, Jonas, thank you once again for joining us on Talent Talks today. It's been an insightful discussion about your experience with onboarding offshore talent, specifically through More Staffing. As we wrap up, I'd like to take a moment to highlight some key takeaways from today's conversation and the benefits of onboarding offshore talent, especially in the globalized world we live in. One of the first things Jonas mentioned was how More Staffing efficiently streamlined the hiring process, finding high quality candidates quickly. This is one of the major advantages of working with a talent partner like More Staffing, where offshoring can feel intimidating due to distance, time zones, and cultural differences. But when you have a skilled partner, the complexities are significantly reduced. The recruitment and vetting process becomes seamless, and you're given access to global talent pool that can provide high quality support, often faster than expected. For the key challenges and overcoming them, Jonas talked about the challenges in defining roles during the onboarding process. And we experience a lot of situations like this when we're having a discovery call with our clients when they have no idea yet on the final job description and responsibilities of the roles that they would like to fill in. When hiring remotely, it's common to encounter some uncertainty about how responsibilities will evolve. This is very different when you're hiring someone that will work in person and if you are within the same area. But with good communication and flexibility, the process becomes smoother and employees like Rebecca and Eureka have been able to adapt and exceed expectations. Jonah's experience shows us that clear communication about tasks and roles is essential. By being open to refining roles and allowing employees to Rebecca and Eureka. For the cultural fit and seamless integration, Jonas also shared how cultural fit was never an issue for his team. One of the misconceptions about hiring offshore talent is that there may be a cultural disconnect. But when there is a strong alignment in values and a solid onboarding process, remote hires can seamlessly integrate into your team. This is the testament to the talent pool available, especially when hiring from countries like the Philippines, where the work ethic and communication style often align with the Western businesses. The importance of onboarding, when we discussed the long-term success of onboarding and training, Jonas highlighted how onboarding directly contributed to his team's success. One of the most important key takeaways here is that well-structured onboarding process doesn't just ensure new hires understand their tasks. It also creates a foundation for long-term success. And offshore hires like Rebecca and Eureka didn't just fulfill their roles, they adapted. They grew and even took on more responsibilities than initially expected. This kind of outcome is achievable with strong onboarding strategy. You heard Jonas said earlier that they still continue to learn more tasks as they continue to work with the independent contractors. Onboarding offshore talent also brings diversity to your team, introducing new perspectives and solutions that might not be immediately obvious. The remote nature of the work process doesn't even that. As Jonas mentioned, these team members are contributing to the overall success of Dwellsy by seamlessly integrating into the workflow and helping others thrive as well. Jonas also touched some best practices on onboarding. Responsiveness, communication, and availability were all key elements in ensuring remote team members can hit the ground running. It's important to ensure new hires are brought into the fold quickly, given clear expectations, and made to feel part of the team, even when they are physically distant. Imagine US and Philippines distant. Regular check-ins, including setting clear goals and maintaining open lines of communications, are critical to successful onboarding. Additionally, learning while doing. This is something that I really like that he mentioned, can provide quick feedback and help both the company and the independent contractor identify areas for growth much sooner than traditional training programs. Why offshore talent works? Offshoring provides not only cost benefits, but access to a broader range of skills. Companies like Dwellsy can scale efficiently by utilizing offshore teams for roles such as data entry, bookkeeping, or executive assistant. The talent Jonas onboarded through more staffing have allowed him to grow his business without the overhead costs associated with local hiring while still maintaining high standards of performance. You've heard Jonas mention that he has remote team members across the globe, not just in the Philippines. So the onboarding that makes the onboarding even more important for them. The continuous coaching and the support provided by more staffing to ensure that these offshore hires continue to grow professionally, benefiting both the employee or the independent contractor and the company. This ongoing development is a key to maintaining long-term success with offshore talent. Final thoughts and advice. Jonas shared some valuable advice for businesses looking to improve their onboarding process. His key takeaway was to get new hires working as quickly as possible, providing them with the real tasks and feedback early on. He also emphasized the importance of setting clear expectations and maintaining open communication throughout the process. By doing so, organizations can ensure their new hires have a clear understanding of what is required and can contribute to the team's goals sooner. To our listeners, if you're thinking of expanding your team and considering offshore talent, remember that onboarding is critical to success. It's about much more than filling roles. It's about creating a pathway for a long-term growth for both the employee and the business. If you'd like to learn more about more staffing, how can we help you find, onboard, and develop offshore talent, visit our website, morestaffing.co, or schedule a discovery call. We will put that in the show notes. We specialize in matching the right talent and their business needs and supporting them throughout their journey with continuous coaching and training. Also, if you wanted to reach out to Dwellsy, Jonas is the CEO and founder. We will include the contact information in the show notes. Thank you again to Jonas for sharing experience, and thank you all for tuning into Talent Talks. Until next time, keep building great teams, keep fostering growth, and remember that the right talent can transform your business no matter where they are located.